The story of the hamster is a curious one, blending the wonders of natural history with the unpredictability of human discovery. For much of their evolutionary past, hamsters lived quietly and unnoticed in the wilds of Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. They belonged to the family Chrysetidae, a large and diverse group of rodents, and their lives were modest, spent digging intricate burrows, gathering seeds, and avoiding predators. Yet in time, these small creatures, once only known to a handful of farmers who viewed them as crop pests, would become beloved household companions, studied in laboratories, and adored in children's bedrooms all across the world. Their journey from obscure wild rodents to globally cherished pets is not just a tale of biology, but also one of culture, science, and chance. The natural history of the hamster stretches back thousands of years. Hamsters evolved as small burrowing mammals adapted to dry, open environments. Their strong incisors allowed them to gnaw through roots and seeds, while their cheek pouches, capable of extending along the sides of their head and neck, were perfectly designed for gathering and storing food underground. This adaptation enabled them to survive harsh winters or periods of scarcity by storing remarkable amounts of food in their burrows. Many species developed across different regions, ranging in size from the tiny Roborovsky hamster, scarcely 2 inches long, to the larger European hamster, which could grow to 13 inches. These animals played a quiet but important role in their ecosystems, dispersing seeds and serving as prey for larger carnivores. For most of human history, hamsters remained on the margins of awareness. Farmers in Eastern Europe and Asia knew them primarily as nuisances, as they often raided grain fields and hoarded large stores of stolen crops. The European hamster in particular developed a reputation for being aggressive and destructive, and governments even attempted to control their populations with systematic culls. In some places, their furs were used, though not widely. Unlike domesticated animals such as cats or dogs, hamsters had little direct interaction with people, and they were not sought after as pets. Yet quietly, without anyone realizing, hamsters were laying the groundwork for their eventual entrance into human society through their unique traits and adaptability. The pivotal moment in the story of hamsters came in the early 20th century in the Middle East. In 1930, a zoologist named Israel Aharoni embarked on an expedition in the Syrian desert. He was searching for small mammals when he came across a female golden hamster with her litter. This species, known scientifically as Mesochrysetus auratus, would soon change the trajectory of hamster history forever. Aharoni collected the female and her 12 pups, transporting them back to a laboratory in Jerusalem. The pups were raised in captivity, and despite some early challenges, they bred successfully. This was a crucial turning point. From that single litter, an entire line of domesticated golden hamsters would spread throughout the world. The golden hamster's temperament, small size, and ease of breeding made it particularly well suited for captivity. Scientists quickly recognized its potential as a research animal. Within a few years, colonies of hamsters were established in laboratories in Europe and the United States. They proved invaluable in scientific studies because of their short reproductive cycles, manageable size, and susceptibility to various diseases that also affected humans. They were used in research on cancer, infectious diseases, reproductive biology, and psychology. For decades, hamsters remained closely associated with science, and their popularity as research animals only grew. It was not only scientists who were fascinated by these creatures. By the mid-20th century, hamsters began to make their way into the homes of ordinary families. Their small size, round bodies, and endearing behaviors appealed to children, while their relatively simple care requirements made them accessible for parents. Pet stores began selling golden hamsters, and soon after, other species such as dwarf hamsters, Campbell's hamsters, and Roborovsky hamsters entered the market. Each species brought its own unique qualities. The Roborovsky, for instance, became admired for its incredible speed and tiny stature, while the Syrian hamster, descended from Aharoni's discovery, remained the most common pet due to its docile nature and ability to live comfortably alone. As hamsters became popular pets, their image began to appear in culture. Children's books featured hamsters as characters, television shows included them as companions, and countless owners gave them imaginative names. The hamster wheel, a staple of cages, became an icon of small pet life, symbolizing the energetic but repetitive movements of these rodents. Owners delighted in watching their hamsters stuff their cheeks full of food, spin endlessly on their wheels, or create elaborate nests out of bedding. In many ways, hamsters became a child's first introduction to the responsibilities of pet ownership. Unlike dogs or cats, they required less space and attention, but they still demanded care, feeding, and a safe environment. The spread of hamsters as pets coincided with a growing awareness of animal welfare. In earlier times, small animals were often kept in crude cages, with little regard for their natural behaviors. Over time, however, owners and experts realized the importance of proper housing, enrichment, and diet. Cages became larger, wheels safer, and bedding materials more comfortable. Specialized hamster food was developed to provide balanced nutrition, and veterinarians began to study the unique health needs of these small creatures. Though many hamsters still suffered from neglect due to misunderstanding of their care, awareness steadily improved. Enthusiasts even formed clubs and communities dedicated to breeding and showcasing hamsters, much as had been done for dogs or rabbits. Hamsters also carried symbolic weight in human imagination. Their habit of hoarding food struck people as both amusing and meaningful, a reminder of human tendencies to gather and store resources for security. In some cases, they were used as metaphors in psychology or popular culture to represent cycles of behavior, the comfort of routine, or even futility. Their lives, short and delicate, also highlighted the transient nature of existence, which made them both beloved and mourned by owners when their time inevitably came to an end. Meanwhile, in the wild, hamsters continued their quiet existence. The European hamster, once common across large parts of the continent, began to suffer from habitat loss, agriculture, and human expansion. Its populations declined so sharply that in many countries it became a protected species. Conservationists worked to preserve its habitats and prevent its extinction. This created an ironic contrast. While one species of hamster thrived worldwide as a pet, others were disappearing from their natural ranges. The fate of wild hamsters served as a reminder of the delicate balance between human activity and natural ecosystems. In the late 20th and early 21st centuries, hamsters became firmly embedded in global culture. In Japan, for example, a cartoon hamster named Hamtaro became a cultural phenomenon, bringing the image of the hamster to millions of children through television and merchandise. On the internet, countless videos of hamsters eating, running, or performing amusing antics captivated audiences. Social media only amplified their visibility, with viral clips of hamsters nibbling tiny meals or navigating obstacle courses. They had transitioned from obscure desert rodents to beloved cultural icons. Despite their popularity, hamsters also presented challenges. Their short lifespan, often only 2 to 3 years, made them both appealing and heartbreaking pets. For many children, the death of a hamster was their first encounter with loss, teaching them lessons about mortality and responsibility. Ethical debates arose about breeding practices, pet store conditions, and the treatment of hamsters in laboratories. Some critics argued that hamsters were too often treated as disposable pets, purchased impulsively and neglected soon after. In response, advocates emphasized education, responsible ownership, and adoption from rescues rather than commercial breeders. Looking back, the history of the hamster illustrates the unpredictable ways in which humans and animals become entwined. From their origins in the wild fields and deserts of Eurasia, they entered the scientific community through a single discovery in Syria, then spread to homes around the world as cherished companions. Their story reflects not only biological adaptation, but also the power of human curiosity, affection, and cultural imagination. They became teachers of responsibility for children, subjects of study for scientists, and sources of joy for countless families. The hamster's journey demonstrates how even the smallest and seemingly insignificant creatures can leave an outsized mark on human life, bridging the worlds of science, nature, and affection in ways few could have predicted.